Hello, my amazing learners, and welcome back to the Wisdom English podcast. My name is Sarah, and I am so excited to have you here with me today. Let's start with a few questions for you to think about. Do you find it easy to have conversations in English? What do you usually talk about when meeting new people? How do you keep a conversation going when you're unsure what to say next? In this episode, we're diving into conversational English, an essential skill for building confidence and fluency in everyday situations. Whether you're chatting with a friend, meeting someone new, or having a professional discussion, knowing how to navigate conversations is key. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because I'll reveal the simple secret that can transform any conversation from awkward to amazing. Let's start with the basics. How to begin a conversation. When you meet someone, you can use simple greetings like, "Hi, how's it going?" or "Nice to meet you." These simple phrases can set a friendly and welcoming tone. If you want to learn more about the person, try asking questions like, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do for work or study?" These questions are great for starting small talk and showing genuine interest in the other person. Once a conversation starts, keeping it flowing is the next important step. One of the best ways to do this is by asking follow-up questions. For example, if someone says, "I'm from Italy," instead of just saying, "Oh, nice," you could reply, "Oh, that's so interesting. What's your favorite thing about living there?" Or if they mention their job, you can ask, "What do you enjoy most about your work?" This shows that you're paying attention and encourages them to share more. Have you ever been in a conversation where you didn't know what to say next? Don't worry, it happens to everyone. One helpful tip is to share your own experiences or opinions. For instance, if someone mentions they like traveling, you could say, "I love traveling too. My favorite trip was to the mountains last year. Have you ever been to the mountains?" Sharing your own story makes the conversation more engaging and personal. Another important part of conversational English is reacting naturally. When someone tells you something exciting, you can say, "Wow, that's amazing," or "That sounds great." If they share a problem, you could say, "I'm sorry to hear that," or "That must be tough." These reactions show empathy and help to build a real connection. And what about ending a conversation politely? This can be just as important as starting one. You might say, "It was great talking to you," or "I really enjoyed our chat. Let's talk again soon." These phrases leave a positive impression and show that you value the interaction. Learning conversational English is not just about using the right words. It's also about understanding tone and body language. For example, smiling and making eye contact can make you seem more approachable and friendly. Your tone of voice can also change the meaning of your words. Saying, "That's nice," with enthusiasm sounds positive, but saying it in a flat, monotone voice might seem uninterested. Have you ever tried practicing conversations with a friend or a language partner? Role-playing common situations, like ordering food at a restaurant or asking for directions, can help you gain a lot of confidence. The more you practice, the more natural your conversations will feel. And please remember, it's okay to make mistakes. No one expects you to be perfect, especially if English is not your first language. The most important thing is to keep trying and to focus on communicating your ideas. Let's dive even deeper into how we can improve our conversational English. A major part of having smooth conversations is staying relaxed. Sometimes, when we speak in a second language, it's easy to get nervous or worry about making mistakes. But remember, every conversation is a chance to learn and improve. So when you're practicing, try to stay calm and focus on expressing your ideas clearly, even if you need to pause to think for a moment. A good way to stay relaxed is by listening carefully to what the other person says. Active listening is an essential skill in any conversation. This means not just hearing the words, but really understanding the meaning behind them. For example, if someone says, "I've been really busy with work lately," instead of just nodding, you might respond with something like, "That sounds tough. How do you manage to find time for yourself?" This shows you're paying attention and makes the other person feel heard. When it comes to continuing the conversation, it's also helpful to give a bit of feedback on what the person has said. This doesn't mean repeating everything, but adding something related to what they shared. For instance, if someone mentions that they recently went hiking, you could say, "Hiking sounds fun. I went last summer and it was amazing to be surrounded by nature. Where did you go hiking?" This keeps the conversation moving and allows you to share your own experiences, making it more interactive. Another thing to keep in mind is the importance of asking open-ended questions. These types of questions invite more than just a yes or no answer and encourage the person to share more. Instead of asking, "Do you like sports?" try asking, "What kind of sports do you enjoy and why?" This way, you get to know more about the person's interests, and you can keep the conversation going much longer. Sometimes in conversations, you'll need to give your opinion, and that's another great area where you can practice your English. Giving your opinion is a great way to keep the conversation going, but it's important to do it politely. You might say, "I think that's a great idea, but I personally prefer something a little different," or, "In my opinion, it's better to." These phrases allow you to share your views without sounding too direct or confrontational. At times, you might not understand everything that's being said, and that's perfectly okay. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. You can politely say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "I didn't catch that part. Could you explain it again?" Asking for clarification is a great way to show that you're engaged and that you want to understand. Most people will appreciate this because it shows you care about the conversation. Small talk is a key part of conversational English. It's light, casual conversation that doesn't dive into deep or serious topics, but it's perfect for meeting new people or warming up before a bigger discussion. For instance, when you meet someone new, asking about their day or their weekend plans is a great way to start. You could ask, "What did you do this weekend?" Or, "How's your day going so far?" These simple questions help to break the ice and allow the other person to talk about themselves, which is something most people enjoy doing. Building confidence in your speaking skills also means accepting that you will make mistakes. In fact, making mistakes is part of the learning process, and it's something we all experience. If you don't know a word or a phrase, don't be afraid to ask for help or to use simpler language. For example, if you forget a word, you might say, "I don't know the word for that, but it's like," and then describe it. Most people will appreciate your effort and will be patient with you. Now, let's think about how to be a good listener as well as a good speaker. In a conversation, it's just as important to listen carefully as it is to speak clearly. When the other person is talking, make sure you're paying attention and not just thinking about what you're going to say next. Nodding, maintaining eye contact, and giving small verbal cues like, "I see," or "That's interesting," show that you're actively listening. Active listening is crucial for building real connections with others and for making your conversations more meaningful. To truly excel in conversational English, you need to practice regularly. But here's a tip. Don't just practice in a structured way, like in a classroom. Try to engage in real-life conversations whenever possible. Whether it's chatting with a colleague, joining a group discussion, or even talking to yourself while you're cooking dinner, every bit of practice helps. If you don't have someone to practice with, consider joining online language exchange groups. These communities are full of people who are also looking to improve their language skills, and they offer a supportive environment for practice. Did you know that communication isn't just about words? Nonverbal cues, like gestures, facial expressions, and posture, play a huge role in how your message is received. For example, maintaining good eye contact shows that you're engaged in the conversation. Smiling can make you appear more friendly and approachable. Even the way you nod your head can indicate that you're listening and agreeing with what's being said. When it comes to your tone of voice, think about how it conveys your emotions. A monotone voice can make you sound uninterested, while a varied and energetic tone shows enthusiasm. Lastly, let's consider the cultural aspect of conversational English. Language isn't just about words. It's also about understanding the culture behind them. For example, in some cultures, it's common to be very direct, while in others, people tend to be more indirect to avoid confrontation. Learning about these cultural nuances can help you navigate conversations more effectively. For instance, understanding that Americans often say, "How's it going?" as a casual greeting, even when they don't expect a detailed response, can save you from confusion. Now, let's dive deeper into some more advanced techniques. To reach fluency, you'll need to step up your game. One effective way to do this is by practicing active listening more deeply. Active listening means truly focusing on what the other person is saying without planning your response while they're talking. To practice this, try repeating back what the speaker has said, but in your own words. This is called paraphrasing, and it helps to confirm your understanding. For example, if someone says, "I've been feeling so tired lately because of my new job," you could respond with, "It sounds like your new job is really demanding. I can see why you'd feel tired." This shows that you've been paying attention and makes the conversation more engaging. Another way to improve your conversational skills is by focusing on your fluency. Fluency refers to your ability to speak smoothly and without too much hesitation, even when you don't know the exact word for something. To practice fluency, try speaking about a topic for a set period of time, like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, without stopping. You can start by choosing simple topics, such as, "What did you do this weekend?" or "What's your favorite food?" This exercise helps you to think on your feet, and it's okay if you make mistakes along the way. Fluency is about communication, not perfection. It's also important to learn how to manage conversations effectively. For example, if you feel like the conversation is running out of steam, you can introduce a new topic or ask a follow-up question. For example, if you're talking about movies and the conversation starts to slow down, you could ask, "What's the last movie you saw in the theater?" Or, "Do you have a favorite actor or actress?" These questions help to keep the conversation flowing. Another critical aspect of improving your conversational English is developing your ability to use transitions effectively. Transitions are words or phrases that help to connect your ideas smoothly. For example, when you want to add more information, you can use phrases like, "in addition," "furthermore," or "not only that, but." When you are presenting contrasting ideas, you might say, "However," "on the other hand," or "that being said." Transitions act as bridges between your sentences, helping to guide your listener through your thoughts seamlessly. Additionally, understanding and practicing idiomatic expressions can greatly enhance your ability to engage in natural conversations. Idioms are phrases where the meaning isn't immediately clear from the individual words, such as break the ice, which means to start a conversation in a relaxed way, or hit the nail on the head, which means to describe something perfectly. Using idioms correctly can make your English sound more fluent and native-like. Building a strong vocabulary is equally important. To express yourself clearly, you need to have a wide range of words at your disposal. One effective way to expand your vocabulary is by learning words in context rather than in isolation. For example, instead of just memorizing the word excited, learn phrases like, "I'm excited about my new job," or "she was excited to meet her favorite author." This helps you understand how the word is used in real-life situations. Pronunciation is another critical area to focus on. Even if your vocabulary and grammar are excellent, unclear pronunciation can make it difficult for others to understand you. To improve your pronunciation, try practicing with tongue twisters, as they help to train your mouth and tongue to produce sounds more accurately. Additionally, listen to native speakers and mimic their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Record yourself speaking and compare it to native speakers to identify areas for improvement. Another valuable strategy is to learn how to use questions effectively in conversations. Asking good questions shows that you're interested in the other person and keeps the dialogue going. There are different types of questions you can use. Open-ended questions like, "What do you think about the new park in our neighborhood?" Encourage the other person to share their thoughts in detail. Closed-ended questions like, "Do you like coffee?" are useful when you want a simple yes or no answer. Balancing these two types of questions can help you steer the conversation in a natural and engaging way. Another way to improve is by practicing storytelling. People love hearing stories, and being able to share your own experiences in an engaging way is a great skill. When telling a story, remember to include details that bring it to life. For example, instead of saying, "I went to a park and it was nice," you could say, "Last weekend, I visited this beautiful park with tall green trees and a sparkling lake. I spent hours walking along the trails, listening to the birds, and enjoying the fresh air." Adding vivid descriptions and emotions makes your story more interesting and helps the listener feel connected to your experience. If you want to take your conversational skills to the next level, consider joining a language exchange group or finding a speaking partner online. These platforms give you the chance to practice with people from different backgrounds, exposing you to various accents and conversational styles. Additionally, you'll learn about different cultures, which can make your conversations more meaningful and insightful. Lastly, it's important to reflect on your progress and identify areas for improvement. After each conversation, ask yourself questions like, did I understand the other person clearly? Was I able to express my thoughts effectively? And what could I do better next time? Taking the time to reflect will help you pinpoint your strengths and weaknesses, allowing you to focus your practice on areas that need more attention. To wrap up, remember that mastering conversational English takes time, patience, and consistent practice. By engaging in real-life scenarios, sharing personal stories, and asking thoughtful questions, you can make every interaction an opportunity to learn and grow. Whether you're at a market, in a restaurant, or chatting with someone about the weather, don't shy away from adding details, asking follow-up questions, and using descriptive language. The final secret. The key to mastering conversational English is to enjoy the process and to embrace every conversation as a step toward fluency. We've talked about starting conversations, keeping them flowing with follow-up questions, sharing your own stories, using body language, and even asking for clarification when you're lost. All of these are essential tools. But there is one simple secret that brings all of this together. The secret is this. A great conversation isn't a performance. It's a dance. Think about it. In a performance, one person is on stage and the other is watching. But in a dance, two people move together. Sometimes you lead by asking a question or telling a story. Sometimes you follow by listening carefully and responding. There's a give and take. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to connect and move together with your partner. When you start seeing conversations as a dance rather than a test, the pressure disappears. You become more relaxed, more curious, and more present. So, my challenge to you is this. In your next English conversation, I want you to stop trying to perform. Instead, I want you to try to dance. Listen to the rhythm of the conversation. Respond to your partner's moves. And don't be afraid to take a small step, even if you're not sure where it will lead. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom English podcast channel to watch our next videos.